Welcome to Kashmir Now. I am your host Vishakha. Let's take a look at some stories of this week's episode. People of Pakistan occupied Kashmir reeling under multiple socio-economic problems. Pakistan using illegally occupied territory of Gilgit-Baltistan to nurture terrorists. Women from the remote villages of Rajouri district in Jammu and Kashmir make their mark in traditional carpet weaving industry. Foundation stone laid for the Himalayan Institute of Alternatives Ladakh at Fayang village in Leh district of Jammu and Kashmir. Later, we'll take you to Pune city of Maharashtra, which possesses a great historical and cultural significance since pre-colonial times. People in Pakistan occupied Kashmir, an illegally occupied territory of Pakistan, are reeling under an extremely hostile atmosphere created by the unscrupulous administrators of the government. In spite of this resource-rich region accounting for a significant share in Pakistan's revenue, an increasingly rapacious Islamabad has denied people a dignified life and their rightful share. The discriminated region is grappling with hours of load shedding, an acute shortage of potable water, and a gruesome sanitation situation. Our report.
Cradled in the majestic and alluring mountains, the valley of Pakistan's illegally occupied territory of Kashmir is dubbed as one of the most beautiful places under the sun. Its captivating landscapes, through its incredible touristic elegance, have for years filled the revenue chests of Pakistan's exchequer. The region's tremendous energy potential has catered to Islamabad's resource and energy deficit. However, an alliance of brute, corrupt and incompetent administrators of the region and authoritative politicians of Islamabad is annihilating the edifice of nature as unscrupulous activities are on an unprecedented high, leaving the region and its inhabitants increasingly insecure under fragile conditions. Rotten heaps of garbage in the most common sight in the city of Muzaffarabad, not only putting lives of entire human resource of the region at risk, but also defacing the pleasant scenery of the city enough to turn a tourist repulsed. While the normal life has gone out of gear, the civic authorities are least bothered. Zulfikar Bhatt, a local journalist who has been extensively covering the public issues of Muzaffarabad and around for years, is apprehensive about the city's future.
मुज़फ़्फ़राबाद दारुल हुकूमत होने के बावजूद अगर इसके अंदर सफाई सुथराई का ये आलम है कि मुज़फ़्फ़राबाद शहर की कोई वार्ड ऐसी नहीं है जहाँ पे गंदगी के ढेर ना हो। उसकी बुनियादी वजह यह है कि यहाँ पे एक म्यूनसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन है, डेवलपमेंट अथॉरिटी है और पब्लिक हेल्थ, ये तीन महकमे जो हैं वो दारुल हुकूमत मुज़फ़्फ़राबाद में जिनके ज़िम्मे दारुल हुकूमत की सफाई सुथराई और डेवलपमेंट का काम है, और ये तीनों महकमे जो है वो अमलन नाकाम हो चुके हैं। इनका काम सिर्फ और सिर्फ ये है कि फर्जी स्कीमें बना के पैसे खाने। मुज़फ़्फ़राबाद जो है शहर गंदगी से अटा हुआ है।
It is said that the city of Muzaffarabad is highly strategic in its location, for it finds itself near the confluence of two rivers, Neelam and Jhelum, and is abundant with water availability. The people of the region have not been that fortunate. However, as they are struggling to get even drinking water for daily chores and other household activities. Zulfikar says it is an organized crisis created at the behest of Islamabad establishment, for they cannot see people of this region leading a life of contentment. He also says that the day is not far when people's grief and anger will take shape of a massive rebellion on the streets of the city.
दो दरियाओं के दरमियान बसने वाला ये 2-2.5 लाख आबादी का ये शहर है, उसके अंदर पानी की मसनूई किल्लत पैदा कर दी जाती है और पानी अपलिफ्ट करके यहाँ से बिल्कुल अर्जा नरखों पे शहरियों को सप्लाई किया जा सकता है। लेकिन जो अदारे हैं उनके अंदर कोई बीन के लोग नहीं बैठे हुए, नायल लोग बैठे हुए हैं जो मसनूई किल्लत पैदा करके शहरियों को कर्ब और अजियत में मुब्तला कर देते हैं।
Pakistan has been plundering the region of its occupied territory for more than 7 decades. People have been denied their rights and shares by exercising high-handedness. Their sufferings can be gauged from the fact that the region, which boasts of extraordinary hydroenergy potential and provides thousands of megawatts to meet the electricity needs of Pakistan, is crying for inadequate power supply. In fact, hours of irregular load shedding. The power shortage affects different people differently. Students have a hard time studying in the dark, while household chores are nearly impossible to finish with no electricity.
का कोई शेड्यूल मुकम्मल नहीं है, किसी वक्त जिससे अपना टाइम टेबल उसका कोई नहीं है, किस टाइम आती है किस टाइम जाती है, घंटा 1 घंटा होती है तो 10 घंटे उसका पता ही नहीं होती है। खासकर छुट्टी वाला दिन बच्चों की वर्दियाँ धोनी होती हैं और सफाई का दिन होता है उसमें तो नज़र ही नहीं होती। तो उसके अलावा बिजली की मिकदार जो है वो हमारे पास जो ट्रांसफार्मर पे लोड है वो बहुत ही नॉर्मल होता है, उसमें बर्की हालात वगैरह वो चलते ही नहीं हैं उसमें। तो और अक्सर ये प्रॉब्लम है कि अभी एक ट्रांसफार्मर हमारा जल गया था, वो 1 महीना हमारे पास वो बिजली बंद रही है।
Crumbling power structure in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, with local representatives acting as per commands of their bosses in Islamabad, is only compounding the troubles of the beleaguered people who have been fighting for their basic rights for decades now. The devious nexus of leaders of Islamabad and Beijing is responsible for the growing troubles for the people of the region. The China-Pakistan economic corridor, touted as the game-changer for Pakistan economy, is essentially assisting the political and military masters of Pakistan in building their own empires, not given even slightest of profit dividends to discriminated people of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir.
To speak more on this, we are now joined by an expert on the issue. What would you say about the socio-economic and living standards of people of POK who are grappled with multiple problems like poor sanitation, acute water shortage and hours-long load shedding?
The problem with the people of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir is that the Pakistani authorities have never considered that as a part of their own country. When the independence of India and Pakistan took place, the state of Jammu and Kashmir acceded to India. Now, that time, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, who was the president of Pakistan, was so eager to get Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir into its fold that he sent in his regular and irregular troops in 47 and invaded Jammu and Kashmir. Now, after that, when the matter reached the United Nations, the ceasefire was declared, and whatever area that was under Pakistan occupation was called as Pakistan occupied Kashmir. Now, what has happened is over these years, Pakistan government has never taken any good interest or regular interest to ensure that there is a development in that region, that adequate funds are provided, that those people are looked after the same way as the people of the rest of Pakistan are. It is mainly because that POK people do not have the, do not constitute a voting, I would say, vote bank that affects the prospects of any political party that is going to be in Pakistan. Number two is that Pakistan is administered generally by the by the Pakistani army and by the ISI. Now, both these organizations consider the Pakistan occupied Kashmir as inferior to the rest of Pakistan because most of the people in this organizations are from Punjab. They are the Punjabi Muslims, and Punjabi Muslims consider the Kashmiri Muslims to be much inferior in race and in otherwise than them. So therefore, these 2-3 main factors are there which has not allowed Pakistan to really invest into that area and develop it.
What, according to you, are the reasons behind the region not getting adequate water and power supply despite having enough resources and power plants?
Pakistan is using POK as its, I would say, a colony to take its assets, the natural assets, and feed the rest of Pakistan. Now, the entire water supply of Pakistan is coming from POK because the rivers that are coming, that have been given, except for the river the Chenab that is coming in from Jammu region, and goes to the other region which is not occupied by Pakistan but went into Pakistan as per the division of India and Pakistan. The rest of all the rivers are coming in from POK. Now the water is adequately in those rivers. Now Pakistan has not invested in making any irrigation schemes so that that water could also be utilized for the farmers of Pakistan occupied Kashmir, because they are more interested to ensure that the water supply reaches the plains where the most of the Punjabi Muslims and others are the landlords are there who have got huge land holdings, and they should get adequate water supply because basically they are the vote banks. They are the people who are mattering when elections take place, not the people of POK. Therefore, you will find that there is lack of irrigation, there is lack of medical care, there is lack of sanitation, there is lack of roads and other infrastructure that is in Pakistan occupied Kashmir.
Gilgit-Baltistan, a territory of the erstwhile princely state of Jammu and Kashmir, is under illegal occupation of Pakistan for more than 7 decades. People living in the region are deprived of basic civil, political and social rights. A suppressive coalition of callous army generals and corrupt political honchos is at the helm of severe atrocities meted out on the locals. The repression is further aggravated by harsh legislations that are introduced arbitrarily. Large swaths of the region, which are under Pakistan's intelligence agency ISI, are used as terror launching pads against India. Any reasonable voice daring to speak against the discrimination faces unimaginable consequences of abduction, torture and sometimes even death. A report.
Palpable discrimination, social and economic depredation, and an iron-fisted administration operating at the behest of Islamabad to suppress the people essentially describe the fundamental story of Gilgit-Baltistan, a territory that has remained under Pakistan's illegal occupation for more than 7 decades. The region that has little representation in the constitutional framework of Pakistan has not only been denied the basic rights and shares, but has been plundered ruthlessly by an exploitative coalition of army generals and politicians. The only thing that matters to Islamabad from this region is money and natural resources. It imposes severe taxation laws in the region in order to raise the amount of exchequer and exploits resources to meet its energy needs. Rest is just an infertile piece of land which is extensively used by inter-services intelligence to engineer and carry out its drills of terror activities against India. People who have tried to raise a voice against these illegal installations have met the fate of death.
There's hundreds and hundreds of people on the street demanding self-rule and end to Pakistan's colonial rule in Gilgit-Baltistan and end to China's encroachment on our land and resources. And because of Pakistan's relationship with the militant organizations and its illegal involvement in Afghanistan, Gilgit-Baltistan became the hotbed for militancy during the Afghan Jihad, and it's been going on and continued like that since then. And unfortunately, that has, as a consequence, resulted in massacre of the local people there.
Locals have repeatedly and vehemently opposed economic and political ambitions of Pakistani oligarchs who have been ruthless in snatching locals' land and resources by harming regions' ecology and environment. Anyone opposing meets the deadly consequences. Thomas Garrett Jr., a United States congressman who has been critical of the government of Pakistan for exercising high-handedness, reiterates his position on severe human rights violations.
If you look at the Constitution and you compare it to how the actual government is functioning, if you look at where the reins of power are, if you look at some abilities of the ISI in particular to affect what some might call control, I think that's beyond what was contemplated. What I want to be clear about is, again, there's no single community of human beings in Pakistan who I'm being critical of. It is the leadership of the nation that denies individuals the rights that they are entitled to, not again by a constitution or by law, but by nature.
Pakistan, the factory of terrorism, has been seeking international sympathy on global platforms, calling itself a victim of terror and taking large amounts of money from developed countries like the United States and other European Union. It uses the same money to embolden its cold-blooded generals and brutal ISI officials to further suppress the people of the region. A high-scale and systematic program is launched against the dissenting voices of the region.
I voted against funding for Pakistan because I thought they are not acting the way that we would in America. Number one, and you don't take American money and oppress your people with our money. That's not what we stand for.
Pakistan stands on the cusp of being declared a pariah state after it was put in grey list by the Financial Action Task Force for its active involvement in the funding of the terror activities. There is a growing anger in the people of Gilgit-Baltistan, and they demand an immediate action against the nurturing factory of terrorism.
Moving on, carpet weaving in the Rajouri district of Jammu and Kashmir has become a thriving industry, providing jobs to several women living in the remote villages of the district. The women in Rajouri district are not only establishing themselves as entrepreneurs, but also imparting training to young women in order to make them self-reliant. A report.
Traditional Kashmiri carpets are liked world over for its intricate handloom work and elegant designs. Giving impetus to the carpet weaving industry in the remote areas of Rajouri district in Jammu and Kashmir, the government has set up 23 centers in the far-flung areas, providing training to the young women in traditional art of weaving carpets and other handloom items.
तो हमारे यहाँ बहुत दूर दूर से लड़कियाँ आती हैं और बहुत शौक से काम सीखती हैं और यहाँ से काम सीख के वो आगे सोसाइटी में अपने सेंटर कुछ खोलती हैं, कुछ अपने सोसाइटी में काम करती हैं। तो हमारे ये इस सेंटर से उनको बहुत बेनिफिट है। वो यहाँ का सेंटर से काम सीख के आगे बेडशीट निकाल के तो उसका बिजनेस भी करती हैं, आगे फरोख्त करके अपना गरीब घराने की जो लड़कियाँ उनको इस सेंटर से बहुत ज़्यादा बेनिफिट है।
To make the women self-reliant and help them establish their own business, a group of 25 women trainers have been employed in the Manjakote block of Rajouri district. They train other women in basic work of knitting, cutting, and once these women are skilled enough to weave the carpets and other handloom items, they are involved further into the business. It has become a regular source of income for many women residing in the remotest areas of Rajouri district.
हुनर जो है, हुनर जरूरी है और हर इंसान के अंदर हुनर होता है, लेकिन उसको बाहर निकालने का भी एक बड़ा उससे बाहर निकालना भी चाहिए। वो जो है हैंडीक्राफ्ट है, जैसे हमारा सोशल वेलफेयर के सेंटर हैं, हमारे आंगनवाड़ी सेंटर हैं, वहाँ भी हम करवाते हैं, नीटिंग कटिंग करवाते हैं, उनको हर काम उनको करवा सिखाते हैं कि ताकि वो अपनी आगे आने वाली जो जिंदगी है बड़े अच्छे ढंग से वो चला सके। तो कोई भी गवर्नमेंट की कोई भी स्कीम जो है वो फायदा ही देती है, उससे कोई नुकसान नहीं होता है।
Considering handicraft as the potential employment generation sector, government is putting all efforts to broaden the artisan base in the remote villages across Jammu and Kashmir. To encourage the young girls in learning this traditional art of carpet weaving, the department is also providing Rs 500 to Rs 700 as stipend to the trainees enrolling for the courses.
इसकी बहुत अच्छी है, 2 महीने लगते हैं इस एक पीस को बनाने में। ये 6 बाई 9 का होता है। तो
इसकी डिमांड कितनी होती है बाहर?
बाहर बहुत इसकी डिमांड होती है सर।
Although the traditional art of Kashmiri carpet weaving was losing its shine, but due to several schemes and skill development programs launched by the government in the recent times, the handicraft and carpet industry has seen a revival. Taking huge strides in the carpet weaving business, several women are emerging as entrepreneurs in this fast-growing segment with the help of the government.
Leh district in the Indian state of Jammu and Kashmir is paving its way to technological innovations and development. Recently, the foundation stone of Himalayan Institute of Alternatives, Ladakh, was laid during a splendid meet held at Phayang village. One of the dream projects of Sonam Wangchuk, who is a Ladakhi engineer, reformist and innovator, this initiative aims to cater to local needs of the people living in mountains.
In Kashmir,
Brainchild of Sonam Wangchuk, the Himalayan Institute of Alternatives sheds the age-old methods of theoretical learning and focuses on hands-on experiential learning. This would bring about a new shift in the education system, especially in the Himalayan regions.
Idea is to set up an open university where the teaching learning has to be experiential, where it has to be hands-on, where it's not your rote learning, where idea would be to make people inquisitive, do critical thinking, out-of-box thinking, and to come up with solutions for the problem in mountain areas.
This university aims not only to foster education for the people in hilly areas but also for people across the world so that they can study and learn how to cope up with issues arising in the local regions. However, the traditional streams will not be inculcated in the curriculum and new needful and meaningful programs would be introduced for gaining practical exposure as required in mountain areas.
1070 canals इस नए यूनिवर्सिटी के लिए पूरा जो फ्यांग गांव, हिल काउंसिल, मोनेस्ट्री सब मिलके यहाँ पे हमने डोनेट किया है, तो हम उम्मीद ये रखेंगे कि ये यूनिवर्सिटी आने वाले सालों में ग्रूम होके पूरे विश्व के लिए बच्चों के लिए ये जो फ़ायदेमंद होगा और यहाँ पे इस यूनिवर्सिटी के तैयार होने से गाँव वालों को भी बहुत सारे मतलब फैसिलिटीज हो जाएंगे.
The idea behind this project was majorly to fulfill and address the needs of people living in the hilly regions. Here, theoretical learning would be 1/3 and hands-on experiential learning would be 2/3 of the curriculum. This is bound to bring about a positive and innovative development in the Leh district.
So today we are laying the foundation stones of a new beginning in higher education. On one hand, we are starting to build alternative buildings that will be solar heated for this university in the cold Ladakhi mountains. On the other hand, we are starting to plant saplings of fruits like apples on this desert to be irrigated with the most modern techniques with help of experts. And this university is expected to be different in many ways. First thing that it will address to the needs of the context, which is the mountain context here. So mountain people don't have sources of knowledge and skill development generally in conventional institutes of education.
This project will aim to empower the local people in dealing with problems by ensuring their skill development and encouraging constructive innovation and out-of-the-box thinking. The idea is to bring about sustainable development in the region. Next, moving on to our section of Incredible India, we take you to Pune city in western India state of Maharashtra. The hub of education and historical significance, Pune city holds a vibrant mix of cultures and several places of interest for a large number of tourists visiting the city. Take a look.
Once the seat of power, magnificent and glory of Maratha Empire, Pune city in the western Indian state of Maharashtra holds a number of historical monuments to intrigue tourists and travellers. Although the city's landscape has fast transformed around it, The all-weather resilient Shaniwar Wada, built by Bajirao Peshwa first in the year 1730, still stands strong to ward off any ballistic catapulted at it. The signature feature of this fort is the massive iron door that reflects the exquisite craftsmanship along with astute engineering skills possessed by the artisans of that era. This fort, located in the peat area of Old Pune, has remained a visitor's delight for a large number of tourists visiting the city.
Good city, it's nice. We are come from to see बाजीराव मस्तानी शूटिंग इधर हुआ था, तो हमको शनिवार वाड़ा देखना था, इसलिए हम आए. और नेक्स्ट वी आर गोइंग टू विजिट फॉर दगड़ू सेठ गणपति.
Apart from several heritage and historical monuments, the city encompasses a conglomeration of faiths espoused by the Multicultural Society of Pune. Dedicated to Hindu god Ganesha, Srimant Dagdu Seth Halwai Temple in Buddhavar Peeth area is one amongst the most popular temples in the city. The temple boasts a rich history of more than 100 years. Built in the year 1893, Dagdu Seth Temple sits right at the center of the bustling market of Buddhavar Peeth.
दगड़ू सेठ गणपति मन्नतों का गणपति माना जाता है. यहाँ पे लोग अपनी मन्नतें पूरी करने आते हैं, मन्नत मांगने आते हैं, उनकी मन्नतें पूरी हो जाती है, वो और लोगों को बोलते हैं, और लोग आते हैं इधर. यहाँ पे सेलिब्रिटी आते हैं, बाहर देश को लोग आ जाते हैं, इसलिए ज़्यादा भीड़ हो जाती है. वो विघ्नहर्ता बाप्पा है, सबके विघ्न दूर कर देता है, इसलिए कोई भी यहाँ पूना आता है तो मत्था टेकने वो दगड़ू सेठ गणपति को ज़रूर आता है. जब कोई ऐसा आदमी नहीं होगा कि पूना आके वो दगड़ू सेठ गणपति को मत्था टेक के नहीं गया हो.
Approximately 2 meters tall and 1 meter wide, the Ganesha idol is adorned with 40 kilos of gold, and the devotees keep on adding the wealth of their beloved god by offering jewelries, making it one of the richest temple of Maharashtra. A multitude of devotees come here to pay tributes to their beloved Lord Ganesha every day. Pune city has a lot to offer to its visitors. For shopaholics, Tulsibag Market, situated near the temple, is one of the places that reverberates from morning till evening to offer a wide range of items available at affordable rates. The market bustles with voices of bargains between shopkeepers and customers. Holding places of history, religious places, markets and a mix of cultures, the Pune city is one such tourist destination that one would definitely want to experience in his lifetime.
From Kashmir to Kanyakumari, India is a hub of several such tourist destinations that we shall continue to explore in our section of Incredible India. So that's all we have for you in this week's episode. Till we see you next week, it's goodbye from the entire production team.